My name is Julia, and I'm 32 years old. My husband and I live in a condo in the city center. On days off, we go out together or travel. We were supposed to be enjoying our childless married life. But there, in the living room of our home where we were supposed to be happy, stood a woman clinging tightly to my bewildered husband's arm. And then, the woman in front of us said, "I'll be taking your promising husband and your condo." The woman seemed to laugh triumphantly, as if she had one. At that woman's expression, I couldn't stop laughing. "Did you hear that, Ryan? What are you laughing at?" The woman's face, alongside my husband's, turned bewildered. I said, as if to break her nose with my words, "The condo is in my name." And at my continued words, a scream came from the woman's mouth. My husband and I had a unique meeting. Working at my father's company, I was incredibly busy. From early in the morning until late at night, in addition to regular work, I had overseas business trips, home parties, and various events. As the daughter of a large corporation, expected to carry on in the future, I was living a heavily demanding life, to the point of exhaustion, neglecting even basic meals, until I finally collapsed. Then, concerned for me, my father suggested something unthinkable: hiring a housekeeper. "Julia, if things keep going this way, it'll really turn bad." "I'm fine. I just overdid it this time. I'll be more careful from now on." "No, I can't trust those words of yours. You always put work first and neglect yourself. The same thing will happen again. I'm worried about you, Julia." "Dad. Just so happens, a housekeeper sent from our company has someone they recommend. Have him come." "What?" It was an unexpected turn of events. Indeed, if the housekeeper was dispatched from my father's company, there would be no complaints about the quality of work. The housekeeper introduced to me was, in fact, my husband. Initially, the idea of a male housekeeper made me wary and even a bit unwelcome. But as recommended, his work was meticulous and delicate, always putting me first. To soothe my likely tired self, he would light my favorite scents in the room, prepare meals that were good for my body, and even when he wasn't around, he made sure I had delicious meals prepared so I wouldn't skip eating. Sometimes, he would even join me for a drink in the evening and listen to my stories. My husband, who had lost his parents at a young age, was warm and kind to others because of his own past hurts. As we spent such times together, it naturally became normal for us to be together. "Julia, you've been overdoing it again, haven't you? The dark circles under your eyes are terrible. I've been really busy, and I haven't been able to eat properly. I'm really worried." "Thanks. If I were by your side, could you live with peace of mind?" "What?" "I want to support you more closely. Can we live together?" "No, will you let me live with you?" His kindness was more than enough to soak into my weary heart, and we decided to get married. My father, who had also lost his parents at a young age, was concerned about my husband and welcomed him as our family when we told him we were going to be together. "From now on, make sure to rely on him," he said. Perhaps because of that, my husband, now confident in our life together, became more proactive in various ways. "How about we move closer to the company?" "What? Time is money. I didn't say it before because we weren't married, but I want Julia to have more time to relax, you know? But I don't have time to look for a house right now." "Then I'll look for it. I'll propose a few, and we'll decide together from there." That's how we came to live in the condo we're in now. And then, "Why don't we head out to the suburbs for a change of scenery on our days off? It's inconvenient by train, so maybe we should buy a car." "But wouldn't a rental car be okay just for the weekends?" "I want to be able to pick you up when you're tired or it's late at night. Plus, I've been thinking it'd be better to have a car for when we need to haul big items or do a big shopping trip." With that, we also bought a large car from an overseas manufacturer. "Oh, and can I get a family card made for me?" "Huh? Why?" "Since you're covering all the living expenses." "Well, yeah, but it's more convenient and you get points." So, I got a family card made for him. I thought everything he did was for me. But I realized at some point that wasn't the case. I want to support Julia, but I also want to keep my connections with society. So, is it okay if I keep working at the same pace as before? Of course. Ryan, you're wonderful when you take pride in your work. Thank you. And so, my husband continued his housekeeping work just like before we got married. I heard that his clients were all women. That's because, due to a past incident with a male client, he was registered as a women-only housekeeper. I thought about asking him more about it, but it must be quite traumatic for him. Perhaps it's not something I should touch on lightly. I decided to wait, thinking he would tell me about it someday. So, his clients were all women, including nightclub workers, female entrepreneurs, young female celebrities, and even regular office workers. What? Are you worried? I mean, that's how we started dating and got married, right? It makes you think. How could I look at anyone else when I have such a wonderful wife? With that, he brushed off my worries. So, I tried not to think about it too much. Then, one day, I had some time before an appointment, so I decided to grab lunch at one of our favorite cafes that I sometimes go to with my husband. Just as I was about to check the materials for my visit after ordering, I heard a familiar voice. Listening carefully, I could clearly hear the conversation. This is a really nice place. And the food is absolutely delicious. It's one of my favorite places, and I really wanted to bring you here. Really? Thank you, Ryan. It was a conversation between my husband and a woman I didn't recognize. As I timidly looked towards the voice, I saw a young woman sitting opposite my husband, whose familiar back was turned towards me. From my seat, my husband was hard to see and had his back to me, so he couldn't see me. Taking advantage of this, I observed the two closely. Isn't that woman a celebrity I've been seeing on TV lately? I realized then. The female celebrity who was probably one of my husband's work clients, and he must be in a different kind of relationship with her. Maybe with other women too. Our relationship began in a similar way, and the meal that was supposed to be delicious in front of me became tasteless, and I could only listen to their conversation again. It's amazing, Ryan. From a housekeeper to a company executive, that's a huge promotion. What? I hadn't heard anything about that. Not even from my father. If there was such happy news, my father would have contacted me immediately. Well, I worked hard for it. True, Ryan's work is meticulous and flawless. That's what stole my heart. Did you fall for me? Completely. That's why I was so shocked when you quit being a housekeeper. You're not a housekeeper anymore, but you're still taking care of my house, right? Well, yeah. Hey, when are you gonna take me to that condo you bought? What? Bought a condo? That condo was bought by me, it's mine. When should we do it? Is your wife a nag? Well, yeah, she loves me so much. Leaving your wife like that to be all lovey-dovey with me. It's Mina's fault for being so cute. Really? Is it my fault? Maybe I should just become a total villain then. What's that supposed to mean? You, a villain? If it means getting Ryan, I could become one. I am an actress, after all. Actress? Just as I thought, the woman was indeed a female celebrity. What should I do? What can I do? As I was pondering, my husband and the woman began to move. Shall we get going? Yeah. I came by car today, let's drive a bit out to the suburbs. A drive? I'm so happy. The suburbs have those stylish hotels. All right. With that, the two prepared to leave the shop. Feeling nauseous, I stood up to follow them. There, parked in the distance, was the familiar car. With trembling fingers, I managed to capture a video I didn't even want to see. Given what I had seen and heard was real, I needed to start gathering evidence. After they left, I tapped on my smartphone. Hello. Hey Julia, what's up? You're working, right? It was my dad on the line. Yeah, sorry for bothering you during your busy time, Dad. No problem, what's going on? Well, your voice is shaking? Dad, you always notice right away. can I come over to the house today? Not outside? No, I'd prefer the house. All right, I'll make it back by 7 p.m. Let's have dinner. 5 hours until I meet my dad. For the moment, I headed to a client's place. After finishing the appointment with the client, I made my way to my parents' house with heavy steps. When I told my father everything, my dad, who dotes on his daughter, started to rage as expected. Bring that guy here right now. This is outrageous. Dad, calm down. How can I calm down? My daughter is being made a fool of, toyed with. Hearing my dad so angry actually helped me calm down. Yeah, I'm furious too. I guess he approached me with that intention from the start. Huh? Because it's the same with these women and me, started from a housekeeper-client relationship. Well, yeah, but... So, I want to get back at him big time. Can't let such a guy roam free. Oh, that's interesting. You'll let me help, right? I need all the help I can get from you. I can't do anything on my own. My dad, always so sweet to me, would surely lend me all the support I need. With that assurance, I couldn't help but smile. So, to start with, can I use the room opposite that condo for a while? It's vacant, so I don't see why not. Are you planning to leave the house? Yeah, it's better for me to be away from home for a while. All right. Then I'll start digging into that man's background. Thanks, Dad. If you run into any more trouble, let me know. With the strongest ally on my side, I stopped going home the day after next. And so it leads to the beginning. Back in my condo after a long time, I was facing off against my husband and another woman. I'll be taking your promising husband and your condo. Oh, really? Try it if you think you can. What? The condo is in my name. If he divorces me, he'll be left with nothing, you know? What? The woman's death knell rang piercingly in my ears. I couldn't help but blurt out a complaint. Shut up. What? Shut up. That's not what we're talking about. What? What did you say? I said the condo is in my name. That car, the cards my husband uses, everything is in my name. Why? You're just a stay-at-home wife, right? Riding on the coattails of Ryan, who became an executive. Don't just lie because you don't want to break up with Ryan. The woman's eyes were bulging, completely consumed by anger. I was being branded a liar through and through. Hey Ryan, tell her. This unemployed lady, this money eater, is no longer needed. Right, Ryan? Well, Ryan, you're too kind. There's no need to be nice to such a lady anymore. You said we could live here together, just Mina and you. Oh, Ryan said that, huh? No! I didn't mean it seriously. Why? Why would you say that? My husband turned pale and started making excuses, while the woman berated him. It's your fault. We were having a nice time alone in Ryan's room. It's not your room, so leave. With all due respect, could you leave? What? If you don't leave, I'll have to call the police for trespassing. What? Call them if you think you can. Your lies will be exposed by the police. Then, don't mind if I do. I took out my smartphone and tapped the screen. Unable to bear it any longer, my husband began to apologize. I'm sorry. Please, no police. He kept apologizing. The woman was desperately trying to lift his head, saying, "What are you doing?" So, you're going to confess everything yourself? That house, that car, those cards, everything is in my name, that you're not an executive but being supported by your wife, that you're a bankrupt loafer who can't even get a card. Are you going to spill all that to this woman? My words left both my husband and the woman frozen in shock. How? Why? The job thing? Lying to this woman that you're an executive? Or that you've been exposed as a loafer? Both. I overheard you two talking about being an executive. And as for being a loafer, I had Dad check it out, so it was immediately clear. When? At that favorite cafe. You were there with this woman, right? Oh. I was there for work and went to that cafe. Then I happened upon you too. I could hear everything you were loudly discussing. I didn't notice at all. Suddenly you're an executive, and you've bought the condo and car. Of course, the payments are all from my credit card's family account. It seemed odd, so I had everything investigated afterward. Huh? The day I saw you two was the day before I stopped coming back to this condo. I've been staying in the opposite condo, the one my dad owns. Pointing towards the opposite condo. I thought you were on a business trip. I did have a business trip. But the real reason I didn't want to come back to this apartment, where you declared you'd bring women, is because you seem to have been doing it even before that, right? Huh? What do you mean? I had the security cameras and our home monitor checked. It seems you've been bringing women here since we got married. How many were there? 5? 6? Julia! What? Why the high and mighty tone? I'm sorry. It's quite something, choosing such a secure place and then daring to do such things. I was surprised you didn't think the concierge here could be a witness, given they've seen the cameras and all. Oh! I took screenshots of the camera footage and had the reception confirm them. They recognized all the women. So now, we even have a witness. You're lying, right? Tell me, Ryan, she's making this up, right? Mina. Lies, fabrications, it's beyond that level. Everything about this man is practically a lie. What? I understand not wanting to believe it because I was deceived too. And to think we even got married. But that's exactly why I'm being clear. Women aren't just me or you to him. Celebrities like you, businesswomen, regular office workers. He targets women he meets through his job as a housekeeper and seduces them. That's his way. What? You met through his housekeeping job too? Yes, I was the employer. Seriously? Yet, while working for my dad's company, deceiving people like this, you've got some nerve. Claiming to be an executive without our consent, quitting without telling me or my dad. The times you said you were working, you were meeting women, right? Like that time at the cafe. That's traumatized by male troubles, so men are off limits? That's just ridiculous. In this day and age, many people have pasts they're dealing with, and indeed, there are others with such off-limits conditions working. My dad's company has others like that. But to use that as an excuse to prey on women, that's the lowest. My husband's expression faded more and more with my words. The woman, finally realizing something, teared up. But I didn't stop speaking. I heard you made quite a living in your younger days working at a nightclub in the countryside. And from then, living off women became a habit. Feeling the limits, you switched to being a housekeeper, continuing to live off women, right? How could you know that? Of course, I'd investigate something like this. Don't underestimate my dad's power. Your father knows? Obviously. My dad is furious. His beloved daughter is played by a scumbag. Of course, he's going all out. Seriously? The housekeeper who introduced you to me was from my family's home, you know? It didn't take much to find out. That person was your senior back home, right? You relied on them to get a job at that company, using a sob story of hardships to win them over. But in reality, you lived off women and racked up so much debt on cards you went bankrupt, pressed by numerous women to repay debts, and fled to New York. My husband stood still. Pupils dilated, either fighting fear or soaked in anger, but either way, it didn't matter to me. I was going through with this to the end. Then, the woman interjected. Is that true? Absolutely. Everything's been thoroughly checked with reliable sources. We even have my father's company lawyers involved. He can't refute anything. What? That's unbelievable. Well, it is. And you said the condo, the car, the cards, they're all yours? I did. And your father's company, the condo is yours, who are you? Oh, me? I'm the daughter of the president of the M Group. What? Didn't catch that? My father is. I heard you. What? The M Group's daughter? Like a real heiress? Yes. If you think it's a lie, feel free to call any company. Want my business card? Really? Why would I lie now, to Mina, the face of our company's commercials? Huh? When I saw you at the cafe, I recognized you immediately. You're in the commercials for our products. No way! Yes, that company is part of the M Group. I'm its executive vice president. What? Need a business card? No need. It's not good having an affair with a married man. Especially when the man is an executive of a company featured in commercials. It might affect your work, you know. You're kidding, right? It's no joke. I've already informed your agency about this fact. The woman, faced with a scenario she never imagined, screamed and clawed at her head. Of course, the commercial contract is terminated. We'll be demanding compensation for breach of contract through our lawyers. What? If we keep quiet, no one has to know, and the commercial contract can just stay as is. Mina, stop. The husband desperately held back the woman who seemed about to lash out in her agitation. You really want to make this a police matter? What? If you lay a hand here, it's assault. You'd be committing a crime for sure. Ugh. Besides, the world isn't as forgiving as you think. I told you my father knows about this talk. Do you think my father would allow such a celebrity to be employed? But it seems the public is also becoming aware of various aspects. Huh? What? That cafe, it's your husband's favorite, right? But you've been there multiple times, right? It seems your affair has been quite exposed. You're lying, right? I wish I were, but it seems true. Magazines have been contacting the company. Your agency must have been informed too. I haven't heard anything. Maybe you just haven't checked your messages? What? Your agency has been unreachable since yesterday. Oh. The woman hurriedly checked her smartphone. At the sight of her screen, her face turned pale and she lost focus. What do I do? This is bad. Mina, what's wrong? I've been getting urgent calls from the office and my manager since last night. Eh? What do I do? The chief says there's something they need to confirm about a magazine article, and I need to come to the office immediately. Seriously? This is bad. I have to go. Oh. What? It's fine if you go, but we'll be following through on this end. What? We'll be demanding compensation for infidelity, among other things, through our lawyers. What? No matter what you do or where you run, we're connected to your agency. Plus, I've recorded everything we talked about. Huh? Be prepared. Damn it! Fine. With that, the woman stormed out of the room. After the noisy exit, a heavy silence lingered between the husband and me in the living room. So, any excuses for everything up till now? No. And I didn't mention it in front of her, but you should atone for the crimes you've committed. What? Marriage fraud. That's why you left your hometown for New York, right? Huh? I got curious after hearing the housekeeper's story who introduced you to me, so I went to your hometown. What? You committed marriage fraud with the women, didn't you? Why would you? I gathered a lot of stories about you and those women from the nightclub where you worked. What I heard was pretty shocking. You're a complete case of marriage fraud. I'm amazed you even thought of running away. What? You, with all your money, could never understand how I feel. Maybe. I had no choice but to run. No money, no status, no honor. I had nothing to cling to or protect. Of course, I'd run away at the first chance. And the place you ran to was an old acquaintance's? Pretty clever idea to connect with women as a housekeeper. I've seen plenty of women living carelessly at home. I see. So, during your scams, you learned all about women. And then, you became a housekeeper specializing in serving only women. When I told them I was almost assaulted by a man, they readily accepted my request for men to be off limits. My father's affiliated companies are tolerant towards LGBTQ and unique traits. They created the company to provide a work environment for people who have a hard time working elsewhere, right? I thought it was a perfect fit. The introduction by your senior probably lowered their guard. Normally, they would have been more selective. As the conversation progressed, my husband's demeanor grew more defiant and he even started to mock me. That's on you too, right? You accepted me unconditionally, even married me. Even if you were tired, it was too easy to take advantage of. True, that's why I understand how the people you deceived feel. What? Sore loser? I don't have time for being a sore loser. I'm just thinking about how to deal with you. You married me without being deceived, so you have nothing to complain about. The very act of marrying was a deception. You've committed a great sin against me. Besides, the statute of limitations for marriage fraud is 7 years. If someone, somewhere, decides to act on it, you're done, you know? Someone, somewhere, like who? Like my dad, for example. Huh? My dad hates people like you. Especially a man who deceived his beloved daughter. And then used his position in the company to commit adultery. If this gets out, it's not just about reputational damage. But there haven't been any complaints to the company, right? So it's not a problem. What? The contracts you had personally connected with have been lost because of you. And it's not just complaints from the women, but from those around them coming to us. Complaints don't only come from users, you know? What's that supposed to mean? Complaints have come in from the buildings you've been working in, saying that a man in uniform has been entering and exiting, grinning, making women and children afraid. What's that about? That's... You were probably scouting for your next victim, right? Pretending to be on business, but really checking out your next prey? What? Caught too accurately, my husband turned beet red, while my mind grew colder. It was about time to settle this. So, please sign the divorce papers. What? That's not the right response. You see the situation, right? I can't even think of living together or being a couple anymore. Even if you refuse, I have conclusive evidence. You understand you don't have the right to refuse, right? I understand. He must have realized he couldn't win against the power. Too bad for him. Reluctantly, but smoothly, he accepted the divorce. By the way, don't even think about claiming any assets. If anything, I have a mountain of things I'd like to claim from you, like alimony and repayment for the cards you've misused. Impossible! I know it's impossible. That's why I won't claim anything in exchange for not dividing any assets. Just write it down quickly. Okay. Oh, and you need to leave this house quickly. What? Of course. Once we divorce, we're strangers. Plus, this house is in my name. If you stay without my permission, it's trespassing. Ready to deal with the police? Damn it! What, lashing out again? By the way, this house has already been sold, and the transfer is in 3 days, so you need to leave by then. What? That's too sudden. Who do you think caused all this? If nothing had happened, there wouldn't have been a divorce or a move, right? I got it. With no room for excuses, my husband reluctantly signed the divorce papers in front of him. For now, as long as he signed this, I was done. While carefully folding that important paper, I heard the sound of the entrance intercom ringing. Ignoring my cautious husband, I checked the monitor and unlocked the door. I thought about the guests who would be arriving in a few minutes. Who is it? What? Who's coming at a time like this? Guests for this occasion. What? I don't get it. Not for me, for you. What? Glancing at my confused husband, I walked to the entrance. As soon as the doorbell rang, I unlocked the door. From inside, I could hear my husband's bewildered voice. What's going on? He must have seen the monitor. The visitors displayed on the monitor were the women my husband had committed marriage fraud with. Is he inside? Yes. I've already made him sign the divorce papers, so it's your turn to do your best. I've already laid down the law with him, so just one more push. If you need anything, our lawyer will be ready to act immediately. Thank you. We'll contact you again once it's over. Saying this, they headed towards the living room, still echoing with his loud voice. Beyond the open door, My husband's screams filled the house like a death knell. Today was Sunday. Returning to my parents' home for the first time in 3 weeks, my father had been eagerly awaiting my return. "You're late. You said you'd be here by noon. I was working late into the night yesterday. I need to rest at least on Sundays. You must be tired." With that, my father showed his concern for me. On the coffee table in front of me, there was a newspaper article featuring a familiar face. While feeling complicated, I thanked my father again. "Thanks for that, Dad." "The thing in the newspaper? I never thought it wasn't just those women. We only investigated the related incidents. It's not surprising he was involved in other things." "Indeed. After getting married, to flaunt someone else's wealth and indulge in womanizing." "True. But you were the only woman among many who got married to him, so while it's unfortunate you were deceived, becoming his main choice is something to be proud of, isn't it?" "What? Stop with the weird positive thinking, will you?" "Huh? Being deceived doesn't give me anything to be proud of." "Oh, sorry, Julia. My father is always positive, but this time he completely missed the mark. Even a daughter as beloved as me realizes that men just can't understand women's feelings." I let out a sigh. People say women are scary, but men are just as scary, if not more. Well, yes. But it's good he was caught. People like him shouldn't be out in the world, and hopefully, this serves as a lesson to the public. Afterward, the women went on to thoroughly blame my ex-husband and handed him over to the police. Investigations revealed he had been involved with more women than imagined, resulting in an unforeseen number of victims. However, this has been a learning experience for me too, in both work and personal life. Huh? Judging people. That's my lesson. I caused a lot of trouble. I'm sorry, Dad. No. Really, though. Even if I was vulnerable, choosing someone like him is inexcusable. I'm truly sorry." My father looked at me with a sad smile. "We must have been blessed with the people around us. It's something to be thankful for." "Yes, very thankful. But that's why we need to value those people properly, and no matter the situation, we need to act wisely. I've learned a lot too. I hope those women can also move forward positively." "Yes. Well, from now on, I'll make sure to manage my own mood without relying on others." Seeing my father's relieved face, at 35, I felt complex but realized there was no need to rush. For now, I was content and happy with my life. This experience hurt me deeply, but in the end, it cleared away all the baggage. So first, I owed my parents a debt of gratitude for bearing that burden with me.